Allow yourself to fully arrive here. Your body is here, but where is your awareness? Where is your attention? Bring it here. Just draw that awareness into this very breath. Can you be fully present with each breath? Take a moment and just allow that awareness to merge with the breath. As you exhale, allow yourself to let go. What are you holding on to? What attachment? What expectation? What role? What history? What are you holding on to? And as you exhale, just see if you can let it go. If you can just allow the breath to carry it out of you, back into the universe. Let the exhalations get longer and deeper as you let go more and more of all of that which is not self, which is not you. But it's holding you back. It's keeping you stuck. Just exhale and let it go. And allow yourself after each exhalation, as you let more and more go, allow yourself just to sink deeper and deeper into the core of your being, that core of yourself. Slowly and gently, bring the palms of your hands together at chest level and rub them gently together. Press the palms of your hands into your closed eyes. Slowly open your eyes and lower your hands. Welcome to Satsang. Starting as usual with a question that's come in advance. And by the way, to our beloved Seva team, if anybody asks questions online as it's going on, we should also give an opportunity to those, not just those that come in advance, but as it's going. If people here have questions, we'll take those first, but we should also see if somebody's actually asking a question at this very time and see if we can take it in real time for them as well. Can you offer some spiritual advice to someone who has just started their spiritual journey? Like, what kind of meditation should I be doing? Thank you so much. What kind of meditation you do is much less important than actually doing it. I always say there's no wrong way to meditate other than hitting the snooze button and going back to sleep. That's the only wrong way to meditate. Otherwise, there's so many different lineages, schools, teachings. I don't think there is one that's better than another. I think in general, if you look back throughout history, our sages, our saints, our rishis, the yogis, they weren't all doing one form of meditation. They hadn't all gone to one guru or one ashram or one course. They were in solitude, in silence, in caves, in the Himalayas, in some cases under the tutelage of a specific guru, in some cases just on their own. And then if you look out at other religions as well, and you look at mystics and masters, of different religions as well. They all had some practice of meditation, of contemplation, of divine connection. And it worked for them. And there's enlightened masters, mystics, what we would call yogis, they may use a different word, in so many of the different religious traditions, if not all of them. So there's not one way that's better, unless, of course, I'm planning to charge you a whole lot of money to use my way, at which point I would be sure to convince you that it was not only the best way, but it was the only way. But if you go back to the days prior to people having to pay large sums of money to learn a specific technique, there really was no emphasis at all on it must be this way or that way, this school or that school, this guru or that guru. What matters most is just do it. So I would say the type of meditation you should be doing is the type that works for you. It doesn't hurt to try 3-4 different types before you settle on a specific technique. Give each of them, a week, 2 weeks. You're not going to necessarily become an expert that quickly, but you'll certainly get an idea of whether you're making any progress. Is your mind quieting? Are you able to bring awareness, consciousness, love, presence into each moment? Are you feeling the impact of that meditation in the rest of your day? Or does it go away the moment you open your eyes and stand up off the cushion? And, just give yourself a little bit of time. And if you want to give more time, you can give more time. Give a month, give 2 months, to a handful of different practices, unless you discover with the first one that this really works, then stay with it. If it works, that's your path. Otherwise, feel free, try a few different things and figure out which one quiets your mind the quickest, allows your mind to be quiet for the longest period of time, opens your heart the most, has the most lasting fragrance. Right? If you walked into a department store and you paid a huge bunch of money for a perfume, and you spray it on yourself in the store, but by the time you walk out of the store, 15 minutes later, it's gone. The fragrance is gone. You'd think, well, this is not a very good perfume. If it's a good quality perfume or essential oil, it should last. It should stay with you for at least a few hours, if not the whole day. So meditation should be like a fragrance. It should stay with you for as long as possible. It should ripple out into the rest of your day. So choose whichever one works. These days you don't even have to necessarily go anywhere. It used to be you had to go for a meditation retreat. These days you can actually just create a retreat at home. Go to YouTube. Listen to meditation videos. I mean, if you can, take some time out. Come to an ashram, spend some time. Nothing like it. It's a highly charged atmosphere. But if not, don't worry. Don't feel like you've got to wait till you can come in order to start a meditation practice. Start it wherever you are, whenever you are, whenever it occurs to you. Just start. And then just make sure that you keep doing it, that you actually get up and do it. If you find that when you set an alarm for 4 or 5, every single time you hit the snooze button and go back to sleep, set it for 6. Set it for a time when you actually can get up. Because you're not achieving anything by setting an alarm for Brahma Muhurt if you don't actually ever get out of bed. You're much better off setting an alarm for a time when you can reasonably get out of bed. And then meditate. So, as you start your spiritual journey, yes, meditation it's critical. It's the foundation, it's the energy. But recognize also as you start your path that our spiritual path is not just that which we do on the mat or on the cushion. So while it's very important to have a good meditation practice, a good yoga practice, ultimately your spiritual journey is that which happens when you walk off the mat, when you stand up off the cushion. And so as you start the journey, see how many times during the day you can remind yourself that you're on the journey. Otherwise, you'll remember in the morning for your meditation. Then you get to work or you get to school or you get where you're going and you completely forget. You're swept up. And it's not till at night you're about to go to sleep and you realize, oh my God, I'm supposed to be on a spiritual journey. I forgot all day. So make opportunities all day long to just remind the self. Some of the easiest ones are before you eat anything. Just before you eat. Take a few moments. Close your eyes. Reconnect. If you've got a mantra you like to chant, chant it. Say grace, be grateful to God. Or simply just take a few breaths and sink into the core of who you are. Before you drink water. And I choose these because they're things that all of us do every day, many times. And so it's this constant opportunity to just reconnect and remember, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Because life is full of distractions. You could set a reminder on your phone every half an hour. Just a little bing. Let it be the only notification that actually goes off. Just to remind you. Maybe instead of a bing, you can program it to say Om. Whatever you want to do. Get creative. Use that which you're already doing in your day to help remind you that you're on a spiritual journey. And choose love and choose peace as much as you can. For me, those are really the cornerstone of a spiritual journey. As I move through the day, there's so many opportunities to be upset, to be stressed, to be frustrated, to be critical, to be judgmental, to be negative. Maybe it's just things of your mind. You notice something that makes you angry, or you notice something that makes you upset. Maybe it's somebody actually provoking you. Maybe it's actually somebody in your face not choosing love, not choosing peace. Either way. Whether it comes just from the depths of you inside or it comes directly from outside, there's all these opportunities to not be in peace, to not be anchored in love. But we have the option every single time, regardless of what the provocation may be, to choose love, to choose peace. And I think that that's perhaps one of the most critical pieces. I mean, for me, it's core to my practice. Every minute, every moment. Am Am I choosing peace in this moment? Am I choosing love in this moment? And if not, why? Why would I voluntarily hand over my peace? Why would I voluntarily pollute myself with hatred, with judgment, with negativity? Love feels so good. It's why we love being in love. It's why we love romance movies. It's why we love romance books. I mean, whether it's us being in love or someone else being in love, we love it. Why would you choose not to love? Because, of course, love is so much bigger than romance. I mean, ask any of us who have chosen a path of celibacy. There's so much love in the world, so many opportunities to love. It doesn't require romance. Why would you choose anything else? Why would you choose anything other than peace? Peace feels good. It's why everyone wants to be in peace. So remember that you should always remind yourself that you have this possibility, this choice, this opportunity to be in peace, to be in love every moment. And that should stay with you as you begin your spiritual journey and as you walk it. Questions? Yes.
This is from the Insta Live audience. It's
Great.
from Chaudhry, and Chaudhry wants to know, how do you handle divorce when you've been utterly betrayed?
How do we handle divorce when we've been utterly betrayed? As quickly as possible. To extricate ourselves as quickly as possible from that situation. We take all of that which happened as a lesson. We were not betrayed because we were bad or wrong or somehow deserved to be betrayed. We were betrayed because someone else, in their karmic journey, was so full of ignorance, of fear, of confusion, of desire, that we were not the first things in their mind. That more important than our feelings were their own fears or desires or confusions. But that doesn't mean that we don't deserve peace and love. So we take what happened as a lesson, because we can learn so much in every situation. We thank God that we are out of it. And we do whatever we need to do to clean our hearts of the anger, of the pain, of the grudges. Because although with a divorce you may be legally free of the person who betrayed you, if you carry what they did into the present and the future, well, you're essentially still married, even though on paper you're divorced. And this is true not only in a situation of divorce in a marriage, this is true in every situation. If we carry the pain of the past into the present, into the future, we are the ones responsible. Someone else hurt us in the past. They were responsible. But if we carry that pain into the present and the future, we have become the perpetrator of our own pain. We have become the perpetrator of our own situation. And we don't want to do that. Why would you create more difficulty for yourself? You've suffered enough. So we do whatever work needs to be done, spiritual work, psychological work, to really be able to let go and to move on. The mind loves to go to the past. It's the nature of the mind. It always goes to the past, either with longing for the good old days or in frustration at how we did something. We wish that we had done it differently. We regret it. Or in anger and grudges, pain over what's happened. But that's where the mind likes to go. It also goes in the future, typically in an anxiety way. Sometimes we envision beautiful things for the future, but most of our minds tend to go into all of the awful things that could happen. And even if we're envisioning something beautiful, through that we're missing the beauty of the present moment. So that's the nature of the mind, is to go to the past and the future. It's why we meditate, or one of the reasons. It trains the mind to be in the present. If I'm with my breath, I'm right here. And if I'm right here, then I can experience joy, peace, freedom. If I'm not here, I can't experience any of that. So engage in spiritual practices, yagnas, pujas, meditation, arti, come to the ashram, go on retreat. Do whatever you need to do spiritually to catalyze this new phase in your life. If you find that you're really struggling and that's not solving at all, do some psychological work. Go to therapy. Talk to someone about it. Get some psychological tools and techniques to work through the pain, the trauma. But ultimately, the goal is one, which is move on. Move forward. Your husband may have harmed you in the past. You've taken the steps to free yourself of that through this divorce. For God's sakes, don't divorce him and then bring him back into your bed, back into your mind. Leave him there. Take the lessons, but leave the pain. And I know that it sounds a lot easier said than done. But I speak as someone who personally has been blessed, been gifted with the opportunity to let go, to forgive past pain, past trauma. And it absolutely can be done, regardless of what someone else has done to you. So you've cut the cords legally. Now cut them energetically, regardless of what he may do. Because the beautiful thing about tension, as I always say, is it only requires one person to let go for all the tension to dissipate. If I'm holding one end of a cord and you're holding the other end of the cord and we're pulling and there's a lot of tension in the rope, it doesn't actually need both of us to let go. It just needs one of us to let go. And then all the tension is gone. So if he doesn't let go, no problem. You let go of that rope so that you can be tension-free. Wonderful. Other questions? Yes.
Hi. Firstly, thank you for having us here at the ashram. When the problems in the world feel deep and pressing and you feel powerless, what is the best way to know how to help others and to avoid succumbing to despair? Thank you.
To avoid succumbing to?
To despair.
Despair. The problems of the world. So there's two pieces and they are equally important. Number one, we are not separate from the world. There's not world and then me. We are part of the world. We are, in fact, creating the world. Each of us is an active co-creator of the world. And what that means is that when that world is in trouble, we need to access our tools, our resources, our energy, our abilities to actually help solve the problems in the world. The highest spiritual goal is not, how can I coexist in peace, detached from our world which is falling apart? That is not the highest teaching. If you look at our scriptures, take the Bhagavad Gita spoken on the battlefield of the war of Kurukshetra. Take the Ramayana. Take so many of the Puranas, the stories. They're stories, for the most part, of divine incarnations doing battle with demons and killing them. Whether it's a specific demon, whether it's simply those who have gotten swept up in the demonic forces, you could say, of ignorance, of greed, of lust. So whether it's an actual asura or raksha, whether it's Duryodhana in his ignorance, in his greed, in his ego. What you've got is divine incarnations actively engaged, personally as well as through inspiring others. Right? Bhagawan Krishna inspires Arjuna and the Pandavas. Bhagawan Ram gets an entire army of the animal kingdom to join him in this fight. None of them are saying, oh, don't worry, sit this one out, it's fine. Yes, let the demonic energies, let the dark energies just win over, killing people and bringing violence and adharma to the land. No. The teaching is always stand up. Fight this. Bring back light to the darkness. Bring back dharma to adharma. And so when the problems of the world are there, and they impact us, and we feel sad, we feel angry. Those are catalysts to action. Those are very different from being angry because someone, was rude to me in our board meeting and made me look really stupid in front of the boss. Or angry because someone posted a nasty comment, and tweeted something obnoxious about me. Or angry because, the person driving in front of me was so slow that I was late for the airport and missed my flight. The anger that we feel about poverty in the world, about injustice in the world, about the destruction of our planet Earth, that's a catalyst. That's a catalyst to action. That anger is energy. The tears that we cry when we see children begging on the road, when we see our planet's water drying up, this is an energy. It's an energy to catalyze action. And so the first part of what to do is figure out how you can act, because we can't all do everything. And so if we don't get really clear with what abilities I have, what opportunities I have, what resources I have, then we do feel despair, because then it feels helpless and hopeless. There's too much. I can't make a big enough impact in enough different sectors. And so we feel despair. So we need to be able to figure out, with what I've been given, what can I do? How can I align my energies with forces that are working for good? And so whether it's making sandwiches and feeding them to the poor, whether it's buying a bunch of blankets and going out and distributing them, whether it's starting an NGO, whether it's starting a tech startup and giving all the money you make to an NGO, whatever it may be. We've all got different skills, different opportunities, different abilities, different resources to serve in the world. What my hands can do, my liver cannot. But what my liver can do, my hands cannot. And I actually need them both for the body to function. And so in the world, we need everybody doing everything that is their dharma. So figure out, what can you do? And then do that with as much sincerity as you possibly can. With as much efficiency, effectiveness as you possibly can. And the second part, though, is to realize simultaneously, not either or, not like a ping pong ball back and forth, but simultaneously to realize it's all God and it's all perfect. And the reason it has to be simultaneous is, if I simply think it's all God and it's all perfect, well, hunger is absolutely not perfect. Violence against women is not perfect. And it's all God and it's perfect, meaning, if I've got them both simultaneously, what it means is that my anger, my pain at that which is happening in the world, and my focus on what I can do to be of service is a crucial part, a fundamental part of the perfection of the universe. We are not separate from God. If it's all God, we are God. If it's all perfect, we are perfect. So is that anger. So is that pain. So is you deciding and pledging to work to bring about change. If I don't fulfill my dharma, then it's no longer all perfect. Because then I've dropped the literal ball on my part of that perfection. I am part of that perfection. So yes, it's all God, it's all perfect. In the big scheme of things, when we have the ability to see the full tapestry and all of our threads interweaving together. And in this intersection of time and space, right here, right now, on this physical plane of existence, there's a lot to be done. And so we use all of that as catalysts for the energy to do that which must be done, as our thread, our perfect thread in the perfect tapestry of God's creation. Beautiful. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. A beautiful morning and afternoon to all of our family joining us online. Happy International Day of the Girl Child. Wherever you are, ask yourself today, what can I do? If not for every girl on the planet, what can I do for one? How can I make the life of one girl better, safer, more empowered, more uplifted? What can I do? Just ask yourself that and see whether something beautiful blossoms from within you as we celebrate this International Day of the Girl. So much love to you all, and looking so forward to being together with you all again tomorrow.